this training, I'll show you how to create a contact point. Within Schema app, I'm on a local business. And within the local business, there's a required and recommended properties, of which one of them is the contact point. A contact point is for a person or an organization, and you can think of it as the contact information for a department or part of the company. If it's a small company, it might just be their primary contact point. In order to create a contact point, you'll click on the second button and do Create Data Item. We're going to call it Contact for Pod, since that's the name of the store. Now, the URL can be really anything that you want it to be if it doesn't have its own page. But if there is an actual contact page, like in this example for pod design, we're going to want to set the URL to that contact page. Now, this is the URL that we use at Schema app in order to send the schema markup to. And then we want to make sure that it's of type contact point. Click OK. So what I've done now is I've created another data item connected to the local business for the contact point. So I'm going to go ahead and save changes. I'm getting some warnings because I didn't complete all the recommended and required fields. Now, when this comes up, I'm now going to see that there's a link to go to contact point for pod. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that and edit this page. Now Schema app's going to bring up the required and recommended properties for that contact point. Now remember, when you're doing schema markup, you want to look to see what information is on the page. So we can see here that there is a phone number. So we're going to go ahead and paste that on here. I missed the 5. Now Google does want you to put in a country code. So in this case, we're in Canada, so we'll put in that one, and you can do a dash or just a space after it. We're also going to put in the URL. Again, this is now the URL for the schema markup. And then you have to decide what is the type of contact point. So this is a clothing store, so I'd be tempted to say sales or customer support, but you can pick whichever one is the best fitting. Email address is required, but is often not listed on the page, but we can look here and no, we don't see any email address, so we're not going to include that. The area served is a great one because you can detail what is the contact point for. Now, you might say it's kind of strange to have areas served, but in this case, you might have a different number, phone number, or contact information for North America, then Europe, and then Asia. In this case, we're going to say that the contact point here serves the city of Guelph, which is where the store is located. So we'll go ahead and do a Wikipedia lookup and put in Guelph. And you could have multiple areas served. So if there was multiple counties or towns that the business serves, you could list those there. Available language, I also like to use Wikipedia lookups for this. So I'm going to say that they serve clients in English, and then again pick the Wikipedia definition that best fits. Finally, the contact option, there's 2 examples. There's toll-free or hearing impaired. And so if there is no hearing impaired or toll-free, which is in this case, you would go ahead and leave that blank. And so those are the required and recommended properties for contact point. So I'll go ahead and save that. It is saying that I don't have a contact option or an email address, which is correct since that information isn't visible on the page. You might use these warnings to tell you what information you might want to add to the page, since this is what Google has defined as the required and recommended properties. Once you save it, that information is now available. You could click on Actions and do Get JSON LD and see that that information is now available. Click on here to test with Google. And then if I go back to the local business that I was defining it for, now you can see if you get their JSON LD that the contact point information is also coming up now in that local business. So that's how you create a contact point within Schema app.